The final fixture of Week 4 in La Liga EA Sports was played at the Santiago Bernabeu between Real Madrid and Real Betis. It was a historic game in which Kylian Mbappe scored his maiden goals in the Spanish top flight. But Madrid had to wait until the second half before they broke through, and it was the visitors who carved out the best early chance. 10 minutes played when Abde headed wide. For Betis, this was just a third match of the league campaign, and they had drawn their previous two at home to Girona and away at Alaves. And Manuel Pellegrini was without Bartra, Isco and Bakambu. He did have Vitor Roque on the bench for the first time. Real Madrid almost broke through on 20 minutes. It was Eder Militao with a colossal header, forcing a save from Rui Silva. Ancelotti had made 3 changes to the 11 that began away at Las Palmas, with Carvajal, Ceballos and Rodrigo coming into the side. In the case of Dani Ceballos, it was his first start of the season, and it came against his former club. Kylian Mbappe was getting into great positions, found here by Vinicius Junior. He hit the target unconventionally, and Rui Silva was able to make a simple save. He then kept out a deflected strike from Fede Valverde. Valverde had opened the scoring in Madrid's previous home game, the 3-0 win against Valladolid, in which all 3 goals had come after half-time. Ancelotti's side had begun this match 7 points behind the league leaders Barcelona, who had played the day before. So there was an element of pressure in terms of gaining all 3 points. Mbappe slid wide, well released by Valverde, and it was that combination that would bring the opening goal in the second period. Jude Bellingham still out injured, watching on from the sidelines. Madrid were also without Camavinga and David Alaba. Frustration here for Vinicius Junior. He felt he was fouled, nothing was given, and so he was punished for handball. Diego Llorente performed very well indeed in the central defensive role for Betis. Excellent challenge here on Mbappe. Llorente coming back to face his old team, and then a wonderful run pass from Mbappe. It went wide to Vinicius and came back from Vinicius just ahead of Mbappe, and Rodrigo couldn't reach it. Los Blancos couldn't quite find the formula until after half-time. In fact, until after Ancelotti had made a couple of substitutions, with the introduction of Brahim Diaz, very influential indeed. If it weren't for this fine clearance by Youssouf Sabaly, Mbappe might well have scored before half-time. A delicate cross from Carvajal, and it was an excellent clearance from the Senegalese right-back. And then Rodrigo fired into the side netting. Plenty in the stadium thought it had gone in. This came right at the end of the first half, a first half in which Betis had stood their ground. They had kept the reigning Spanish and European champions at bay. The question was whether they could continue to keep the home side out, and in the end they couldn't. But they did so initially at the start of the second half. Vinicius came very close. 5 minutes after half-time, he hit the post. And on the rebound, Mbappe was offside. And in any case, lifted his shot over the crossbar. Ancelotti's side were even more dominant in the second half. There were appeals for a penalty. The ball touching Llorente on the left hand. Alberola Rojas saw it. No foul, no penalty, so play went on. And it was Rodri from range who hit the target. He was looking for his second goal of the season in all competitions, having scored once in Europe. Rodrigo generated wonderful power then. His effort beaten away by Rui Silva before Pellegrini made a double change. On came Johnny Cardoso and Vitor Roque on loan from Barcelona to make his Real Betis debut. And there were more penalty appeals. This challenge from Sabali on Ceballos, nothing given. And at the other end, Abde fired low and narrowly wide just before the hour mark. A decent opportunity here. Betis had lost only one of their previous 7 away games against Real Madrid, and it looked as if they might frustrate them tonight. For a few minutes in the second period, Vinicius did look frustrated, and he was the first player yellow-carded for his complaints about the referee's decision. It was then Vitor Roque with his first opportunity, found by Sabali, and the Brazilian headed at goal. Comfortable enough save for Courtois, who then tipped over a rather uncomfortable cross. This from Fornals. And then Ancelotti's change, a really influential one. Fran Garcia and Brahim came on, and particularly Brahim played a huge role in changing the game. The opening goal came from Mbappe. His first goal in La Liga with 66 minutes on the clock. Jude Bellingham, along with the Real Madrid faithful, able to celebrate a very special moment. A historic goal. Mbappe teed up by the brilliance of Fede Valverde. What a flick to release the Frenchman, who slid his effort ruthlessly beyond Rui Silva to make it 1-0. Pellegrini brought on Diao, replacing Rodri, but it was Brahim who continued to pull the strings. He released Vinicius, who went down under the challenge of the goalkeeper. Initially, the flag went up for offside, but in fact, Vinicius was onside. A wonderful piece of play from Brahim. And the referee had a look at the footage an on-field review and was able to see the foul by Rui Silva on Vinicius. And so Alberola Rojas gave a penalty. Ancelotti had spoken before this match about how they decide who takes the penalties, and he said the players on the pitch decide. And in this case, Mbappe stepped up and converted the penalty to make it 2-0. 74 minutes played, and Madrid now had daylight between them and the visitors. Joy for Kylian Mbappe. His first goals in La Liga, his first for Madrid at the Bernabeu. He had scored in the UEFA Super Cup triumph, and so now has 3 goals in all to his name for his new club. He was replaced by Modric with 3 minutes remaining. A job well done, as Real Madrid picked up their 2nd win of the season, moving on to 8 points after 4 matches. Such flamboyance from Vinicius, the entertainer, towards the end of the game. Betis beaten for the first time this season. They have just 2 points on the board, and they very nearly conceded a 3rd goal in added time. It was Endrick, the 18-year-old, with his very first touch, having come off the bench, who was denied by Rui Silva. It finished at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid 2, Real Betis 0.